Coffee with Cannon. You may think this is a strange location, but I usually do it by the pool, but my wife kicked me out of there today. You see who's wearing, see who's got the power in this family, right? She said, no, you're not doing it by the pool. Of course, she wants to be by the pool. So this is a location you haven't seen before. This is one of those, like, I don't know what it's called. It's like a structure, and then there's plants growing over the top. I think it's English or Irish in derivation. I don't know where it is. Sergeant George, how are you, buddy? Karen B, hi, Bill. Holly, go lightly. Is that a new sub? Are you a new sub? A new fan, Holly, go lightly? Mary, and BB2, Marie Green. Hello, Marie, how are you? How's everything going? So, Jakey 5, evening all. Robin Gerhardt, good Saturday morning, Sergeant Bill. Kay Cooper, hey Bill, much love from North Carolina. Thank you, thank you. Sergeant George Ishak, doing great, Bill. That's great. Crystal Stars, good morning. So it looks weird not watching college football today. I'm gonna go in the pool today because we got maybe a week left, and I'm like, Vancouver Island, wow. Holly Golightly, not a new sub, but hardly ever comment. Love your videos. Good to see you, Holly Golightly. Love that name. Jackie Cunningham, hello. Sergeant George, yay for the pool. Shannon Mickak, just found this channel. I love it. I've been looking for something like this for a long time. Wow. I'm glad you found it. Diane Krause, hello. Helen Bickley, hi from England. Isn't it amazing that we get people from England and Ireland and Australia? I'm always amazed by that. You know, just from like the internet, it makes the world a smaller place, I guess, you know? So, Gail Salvatore, hi, I'm late, but here grabbing my coffee. Cool. Marie Green, Kim, hi, great to see you. I love that all you guys like know each other in the chat. That's so cool to me, you know. Hunter X Angler, howdy from New Mexico. Vicky Lynn, good afternoon from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Wow. Denver here. Holly Golightly, do you know my son Casey is in Denver now? He lives there. He works as a he works remotely, but he works as a cybersecurity expert, and he loves his job, you know. And so far he loves Denver. Alicia B, hello, Crystal Stars. I know, me too. It's just crazy. And there's Lieutenant Pete. Lieutenant Pete, I'm surprised you're not on the beach. Maybe you are on the beach. North Shore, Long Island, got to be beautiful today. It's a great, great day. This is a little weird. I don't know if you guys could see. You probably can't see it because I'm under this thing, but it doesn't provide you total. Brad off from one Supreme Commander to another. Good morning. Someone else is going to steal my moniker, the Supreme Commander. That's all right. That's okay. I'd never, what do you call it? Went trademarked it. I never trademarked it, you know. Marie Green, Kim off work being ill. Okay, now back in on Tuesday. Lovely. Willez Pony, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Hi from Florida, Supreme Commander, from the world of oranges and the world of beautiful sunshine, palm trees, and Phil Grimoli, true stories of the NYPD from the top. You know, I have this show coming up on Wednesday, the 7th, and I have 3 great NYPD chiefs that are now retired. Chief Edmund Hartnett, who also, besides being an NYPD chief, was the police commissioner of Yonkers, which is a pretty big city in Westchester, a lot of crime. And Louis Anamone, who was one of the greatest chiefs on the NYPD. He was chief of department. He was one of the influential guys who started CompStat, and during his tenure, crime started really going down big time. He was known as a hard-charging chief. And of course we have Chief Joe Fox, who is the chief of transit police. Sweetheart of a guy. He's now a motivational speaking coach. And what a sweetheart of a guy. Those 3 are coming on Monday, Wednesday, September 7th, and they're going to tell their greatest NYPD stories. We had another show like that, and I thought the show was great. And it was great, you know, great stories from the NYPD. And these are real stories. These are the stories that, you know, NYPD Blue and all these police shows, they try to steal these stories. They don't even buy them. They try to steal them, Netflix, SVU, all of these police shows try to take these stories. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these TV people watch this podcast to glom, that's a good police word, glom some of these stories. Glom, I love that word, glom. Yeah, they glom, they steal it, they don't pay anything for it. Rosemary J, Mickey Mantle, number 7. So let's get back into the news. The Kiely Rodni story. Basically what we got to do with that is just keep waiting for the investigative information to come back to us. The scientific information. I don't think they've released any of the autopsy information, and that's, the family may not want it released. She was only 16 years old. But, more importantly, people want to know, how is it that she died? Did she drive her vehicle into the Presser Reservoir, or was there something more sinister involved? And I think, in my partner in Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, Phil Grimaldi, we think it was an accident, But there's a lot of sinister podcasts and content creators on YouTube that think. Someone even said, and I find this to be ridiculous, that the reason the police didn't find her Honda CRV, the 2013 Honda CRV, was because it wasn't there when they searched. So in essence, when they completed their search and they declared the area clear, someone then put the CRV there 4 or 5 days later. I find that to be ridiculous. I don't know about you guys, but I find that to be ridiculous. And Gail Salatori, so do I, intoxication and confused. People, everyone acts like, oh, they never drove with a few drinks under their belt, and everyone acts like, oh no, I never did it. But I'll testify to the fact I have done that before. I'm not proud of it. I've done it, and I won't ever do it anymore. But if you have more than what you consider what you can handle, like, to me, once you have over 2 drinks, you definitely should not be driving. And that also is Squirrel Sandwich. I haven't seen you in a while, Squirrel Sandwich. Great to see you. I love that name, Squirrel Sandwich. It's amazing, Pauline Buckles, I would think the last picks, the phone ping would be the first place to be searched. Yeah, and they did. They did search there, and they just were not successful, And one of my shows I titled it, The Police Failed and Adventures with Purpose was successful. And, people got all upset. How could you say they won't? Stop beating on the police. They failed. Okay, so the search they did was a success. Is that what you're telling me? People don't want you to tell the truth, and I'm not. And if anyone doesn't want to beat down on the police, it's me. I want to support the police, but they missed it. And you can't say, Alicia B, as a boater, I can tell you using radar and sonar is not as easy as you think. There it is. It's not as easy as you think. You have to know what you're doing. Even Adventures with Purpose, when they spotted this mass, and you got to remember the car was upside down, so it wasn't like shining into the sunlight. They sent down a magnet, and when the magnet hit on the car, they knew that they had something steel down there, and that's when they dove down there, and it was in 14 feet of water. That's what it was reported, right? So what we're waiting for now, of course, is Kathy Bates, hello. Richella Pranzo, Adventures with Purpose, didn't realize at first it was a car. That's Richella Pranzo. Thanks, Richella. Someone just said, we appreciate your calm and logical way. There's some, I read almost all the chat. I can't respond to all of it because there's a lot of chat. And when you do multiple shows, I can't respond to everything, but I try to respond to a lot. And someone said to me, you shouldn't be deducting what happened. You're not the family. It's hurtful to say this and say that. You're an investigator. I said to the guy, listen, dude, I'm a retired 27-year veteran of the NYPD. I was a sergeant in homicide, all right? I did 16 years in the detective bureau. If you can't handle what I'm finding out through my investigation, go to another channel, please. This channel's too adult for you if you can't handle that, you know? I'm sure he's looking for another channel as we speak, but what do you want me to talk about, dude? Police work is an ugly reality sometimes. Investigation, there's ugly realities to what we find out, but that's why it's called investigation, you know? Deductive reasoning, right? You check into things, you eliminate things, and then you come to Mickey Mantle. Thank you so much for the $20 or that 20 pound super chat. Wow. You know, Phil Grimaldi, who does the shows with me as my co-host when we do shows at night, he said to me, you know, you're building another show, Coffee with Cannon. But you know, we don't know what to name this show. Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. And I think it's fun because I get to do it differently. I get to do a different show. It's on the same channel, but I get to do a different show. And why not, right? Why not? You know, I remember when I used to teach one of the, and I taught at an basically all black and Hispanic college. There was half of 1% white. And one of the professors that taught with me said, she goes, you know, I was outside the classroom and these three girls, they're talking about you. And I said, oh, really? She goes, I go, what did they say? She goes, Cannon? And this is how they refer to me. They don't say Professor Cannon. They go, Cannon? He a professor? He a stand-up comic? He a detective sergeant? Why not? When I heard that, I lost it. I just lost it. I thought it was the funniest thing I had ever heard. And flattered that they were talking about me, but also the humor involved is like, they liked the fact that I was trying a lot of things with my life. You know, oh, also acting. I left out acting. You know, Cannon, he a professor, he a stand-up comic, he an actor, he a detective sergeant. Why not? And I just died laughing. And if you guys don't think that's funny, you have no sense of humor. It was. I howled when I heard it. You know, Marie Green, good Lord. So yeah, you know, that's flattering to me. You know, just the fact that people are talking about you anyway means that they like you. You know, and they liked me. So, but I did think it was so funny, and that's, I think, a good example. Trish Norman, I love this channel. It's got wisdom, maturity, and real life experience. Also seems to be more educated people in the chat. Listen, I love this, that I could talk to you guys, and talk about different things. I don't have to stay on one topic the whole time because, you know, it's fun. Oh, and one thing I wanted to bring up today, because it's all over the damn news, is Biden coming out with the idea that the government's going to pay billions of dollars in student loans. And I didn't like that idea. I thought that, you know, if you take a loan, you should pay it back, you know, and even if it's from the government. And I worked 3 jobs, and my wife worked very hard. Her father contributed to our son's education. And Rosemary J., I love Coffee with Cannon. It makes my day. Thank you so much, Rosemary J. So I thought that, you know, we did all that hard work, and we paid for our sons to go through college so that they wouldn't have loans to pay back when they got out. Because it is tough to pay back loans, because when you first get employed, you're not really making that much money, right? Kim Allison, Sergeant Bill, everyone likes that you sing and talk about musicians. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I love that too. And I love music, and I play guitar, and you know, sometimes when you're doing a lot of things, you put one thing on the back burner. Will S. Pony, so funny. I depend on Coffee with Ken to put a smile on my face. Thank you, Will S. Pony. You know, that humor is so important too. You know, when I was taking acting classes, you would do play a role, and you would interpret the role a certain way. And sometimes my acting teacher would say, you got to put some humor into that role. You know, it's too serious. Put a little bit of humor. You know, smile, laugh, chuckle during delivering a line. And I was like, that is so important to do that, because we don't realize how much in real life we add humor to things, and that makes it. I just moved the thing a little closer. I'm sorry. I had there was a good chat and that I just missed because I was moving the thing. Alicia B. Same here for Crystal Stars. I paid off my loans too. So there was a great meme on Facebook, and it was all these coal miners, all dirty and going in one of those things on the little rail saying, "Why do I got to pay back their student loans?" And like right there, it's funny because here's guys going into a job that no one would want, a job that not only is a difficult working conditions, but gives you horrendous health problems, black lung and breathing problems and all of that stuff. And here you're asking these guys to pay the loans back for little Biff and Chad Smith. And, why should they pay back their loans? It's not the government that's forgiving the loans, it's the taxpayers that has to pay them back. The taxpayers are paying the loans back, Coal mining is a tough profession, yeah, and, Marie Green, Bill Cannon is already, oh, thank you, Marie. It's so great to have you here, Marie. Squirrel Sandwich, I left college owing zero. I actually left college, but you got to realize I went during a different era. And I went to all SUNYs. I went to Nassau Community College, and I went to Buffalo State College. So, they were SUNYs, so it means State University of New York. So I left college owing like $6,000. And for me, I was like, at the time, I was like, oh my God, $6,000, whoa. And really, it was nothing, But, you don't want to owe anything because when you first get out of college, you're not making any money, or you're making terrible money. And you're doing everything you can to pay your rent, Trucker Steve said these politicians should pay for these student loans. Yeah, good luck, Hey, Hunter, Tony, Peter Pranzo's in the chat. Rosemary J, much respect and love to all of you and our men and women in blue. Sandra H paid off her student loans, $716 in the house. It's not right that our tax money is spent on things we aren't even allowed to vote on. That's pretty true. Now the other big story, at least in New York, and I guess across the country, is that Brad Arm, a welder, pipe fitter, you had a $10,000 loan to learn how to do your stuff, right? Kay Cooper, I got married at 19, had no choice but to skip on my dream college choice. Sorry, I can't read that fast. They took my taxes for my loans, didn't finish due to a serious car accident at 94, Kathy Bates and Axel. Look, we all have our stories, We all have our stories. And I think that if you can't afford to go to a private college and you want to go to college, then you should go to a college in the state university system. Because then you won't have to borrow crazy money. And if you have to, Squirrel Sandwich, I had scholarships and saved, worked, and parents did help. I was the first in your family to get a college degree. I love that. I think that's so heartwarming when you could say I was the first person in my family to get a college degree. I was actually the second. My brother got a college degree. He went to Hofstra. And my older brother was an acting major. And Hofstra has one of the greatest theater programs. And he got a scholarship to Hofstra. And so he didn't have to pay. And then I went to Nassau Community and I worked part-time. And then Buffalo State. And then I got out of college and I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. 716 is the area code for Buffalo. That's right. That's right. I still remember that. Right? Buffalo. What a great city. And horrible weather, but what great people. Buffalo has such great people. Very warm people. People that have the spirit of helping each other because you have to. Because the weather up there is so horrible. Things happen in Buffalo like the locks on your car freeze so you can't get into your car. Or your door freezes shut. Patrick Lamb, why are people so upset about loan forgiveness? This is a good thing. Well, Patrick, you know what it is? It's that people have to pay for it in their taxes. It's not forgiving the loans. The government's not forgiving anything. It's transferring the payment of that loan from the person that took the loan to the taxpayer. That's why people are upset, you know. And I personally am against it. Yeah, I think that it's just another thing they're adding on to the taxpayer. This is nothing new. What about the PPP loans? Yeah, you know something? That too. There's people that multi-millionaires that didn't even deserve that are getting that money. It's like, look, in my opinion, the government is trying to go towards a socialism in this country, and that's all part of it. Let's give them a taste of the money, you know, and that's why I see it as a bad thing. And we can all agree to disagree. We can all agree or all not agree. I think many of the people that listen to this channel would be against forgiveness. It's not forgiveness of student loans. It's transferring the payment of the student loans from the loanee to the taxpayer. Jakey5, Bill, they're trying to do it in the UK, socialism. Yeah, it's you know, when you see all the countries that have failed, that are social, and I don't want to get deep into politics, but it's a little scary, I think. Is it fair they're giving the money only to a certain, well, you know, Richella, what they say is they give it based on income, you know. But is it the income of the parents? Because that's what your financial aid is based upon. Or is it the income now of the student who owes the money, because now the student is working full time and maybe doesn't make much money? K. Cooper, Kim, I was difficult, however, I wouldn't have changed my experience for anything. We got our amazing son. Thank you. That's great. That's great. So the other thing I was going to talk about, the migrants coming to New York City. Mayor Adams is freaking out, flipping out, just flipping out. Let's go Buffalo Bills Super Bowl bound. I don't disagree. They were great last year. If they added any pieces to that team, they're going to be very, very tough to beat. And you know something? I'm a Jet fan. I've been a Jet fan since I was 12 years old. But, you know, I can't wait till, you know, for eternity for the Jets to get a good team again. Kim Allison, Sergeant Bill, agree completely. Yes, socialism. Yeah, Buffalo Bills, great. They're going to be a great team this year. Patrick Glanville, I think Governor Newsom also called out Abbott. Governor Newsom's another communist. You know, he's calling them out, but you know, this is a problem from the federal government. They're not just supposed to have open borders. The federal government is disobeying the law. There is no immigration policy, zero. So why should border states have to take in all these people and pay for it? Now, the sanctuary cities like Washington, D.C. and New York, all of a sudden they're, oh my God, we can't afford this. Yeah, but how can Texas afford hundreds of thousands of people coming in? You get 10,000, you're losing your lunch, you know. Maybe you shouldn't be a sanctuary city. Now you see what it's like to be a sanctuary city. Boxing MMA, hey Sergeant Bill, the Bills are going to be up there now with Von Miller. Must say the Buffalo quarterback surprised me. He was very inaccurate at first. Now the guy's great. The guy's great, you know. Some of these guys, you give them a year or two under their belt, and it's like they're dyed-in-the-wool veterans now. They used to say it would take an NFL quarterback 3 to 5 years to learn how to be an NFL quarterback. They can't wait for that anymore. Patrick Mahomes, 1 year rode the bench. Next year he was unbelievable. The Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. So these guys are not sitting on the bench and waiting. They're getting ready to play. Kathy Bates, I wouldn't be shocked if he sent some to Baker. Kim Allison, hi, beautiful day. I don't know, but Louisiana is not a good state. Guys, some of these chats just go so fast I can't read them. Doug Flutie, Stampeder. Doug Flutie's famous for that pass, that long pass when he was on Boston College. Donna Lehman, don't look, but I have a gut feeling the Raiders are going to be very disruptive this year. Willard's Pony, I remember I had a crush on Joe Namath. You know, Joe Namath, I was just told, owns a restaurant in Jupiter, right on the inlet. So, you know, when I go down to Jupiter, I'm going to go look up Joe Willie. Joe Willie was like my idol when I was a kid. I wore number 12 in high school. I used to go to Hofstra where the Jets practiced just to go watch Joe Willie and the rest of that. Was at that time, it was the Super Bowl champion Jets, 68, 69. Unbelievable. I just admitted to being pretty damn old, you know. But I used to go to Hofstra, which Hofstra was like 10, 15 minutes from my house. I lived in Levittown growing up, and you could go to the Jets practice at Hofstra. It was so great. You could stand right there, and then they would eat lunch, the Jets' whole camp was at Hofstra. So they used all of Hofstra's facilities. So they would eat at Hofstra, so I would go and have lunch there and get really close to the Jets, shake their hands and stuff. Some of them weren't kind that you interrupted their lunch or that they were there and that you knew where they were, but some of them were cool, you know, some of them didn't care. But I remember Matt Snell, the great Jet fullback. I thought he was a tremendous running back, but he wasn't the nicest guy when you went up to him. Emerson Boozer. It was weird. Back then, in the Jets, the fullback ran with the ball, and the halfback was the blocker. Willard's Pony. So you've been to Joe Namath's restaurant in Jupiter. Someone told me there's a restaurant in Jupiter on the inlet called the Square Grouper. That's supposed to be a great restaurant. So I'm looking forward to going to some of these places. Richella Pranzo had a crush. Brett Favre. Wow. Bill, I agree with Sharon. Your yard is beautiful. Well, thank you. I never have sat here before. I mean, I shouldn't say never. Never did a show. Never sat here and did a show before. Guys, 109 people in the chat, 72 thumbs up. If there's a possibility that someone is in the chat that's not subscribed, please go on our YouTube, subscribe, hit that button, give us a thumbs up. We're at 30,500 right now. We're growing and growing, and it's squirrel sandwich. How people thought Greta Thunberg was a oh God, I can't take those types, you know. Ricky Gervais at the Golden Globes did the greatest monologue I ever see. He said to the people, he goes, listen, if you get an award tonight, go up there, accept your little award, thank you God, thank you parents. He goes, but don't give us any political speeches. He goes, but you folks know nothing. He goes, most of you folks have less education than Greta Thunberg. I thought it was so hilarious. And you see, I had to see some of the faces of these Hollywood leftist types. Tom Hanks was like, Ricky Gervais, fantastic. Ricky is the best, right? What is the gray box thing behind me? Oh, that's the entrance to the basement. And then the other thing behind that is the our gas, the propane. We actually we cook with propane. Ricky Gervais, yes, Willard's Pony. So that's the doors to our basement, and the other thing next to it is our propane tank. Wow, I'm showing you my whole damn yard, you know. Next time I got to sit in a different place, you know. But as I said, my wife kicked me out of the pool area today. She's like, "You're not doing a show there." The Namath Jets are before my time. I remember the Freeman McNeil Jets, great teams. That was Freeman McNeil. Was Richard Todd was the quarterback. Richard Todd was another alumnus. Oh, I got my EquiSearch hat on. Dave Rader gave me this hat because I'm an honorary EquiSearch member, and Dave Rader gave me this hat. Trucker Steve, if no one knows that, Bill, they must have been in the city too much. The Jets are one quarterback away. Look at Josh Allen. I don't know. I don't know if the Jets have their championship or their franchise quarterback right now. Look at the guy they had, Darnold. He's going to sit behind what's his name from Cleveland, got traded there. Donald is going to ride the bench. That was who the Jets thought was their franchise quarterback. Jets look better than the G-men, Trucker Steve. Trucker Steve, you're a big football fan. Scroll Center, they say what makes a difference in cooking and food taste. I could never tell the difference. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised when we moved here that we had propane instead of whatever the other gas is. Marino, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Lanville. I don't know why I couldn't think of him. Baker Mayfield, some people thought he was going to be the next Drew Brees, but he obviously wasn't. I think he's a fantastic athlete. He's sort of small as NFL quarterbacks go. He's like 6 foot, maybe 6'1", maybe 200 pounds. And, it seems like the prototype for NFL quarterbacks now is like at least 6'3" to 6'6", 225 to 240. So, yeah, it's Kevin Fay. Hi, Bill. Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone. This is so much fun, just sitting there. Aloha, Peter Pranzo. Photo Flies Photography. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while either. I love when I see someone come back. Gayla Dennison. Greetings from sunny Sacramento, California. How's it going, Bill, watching this stream from the UK? Jane, good to see you, Jane. Zach Wilson should have played another season of college ball. Nancy Smith, I had propane way back when it was $1 per gallon. Now, remember that during the whole COVID thing, all these restaurants, they would move outside, and then they had these big propane heaters. They cost a fortune to run. Because a tank of propane goes for like, I don't know, with tax and everything, goes for like $26, $28. So if you go through one of those, you got about 10 of those heaters, and they're burning. Think of what it costs to warm up your outdoor eating area. That costs a fortune, Crazy. So we were talking about the student loan stuff, and then we're talking about the immigrants, the illegals, the migrants, whatever they want to call them, coming into New York, and Eric Adams is freaking out. And but New York City calls itself a sanctuary city, so I guess that's what they're getting. Sanctuary City is now getting some of the migrants coming to their cities. And, they're putting them in hotels that are costing, I don't know, anywhere from $400 to $600 a night. So multiply that by the amount of people coming in. Squirrel sandwich. They do cost and need to be replaced more often than you think. I'm not sure what you're talking about, squirrel sandwich. Maybe you're talking about the propane tanks. I don't know. But, Jane, will the migrant problem ever be sorted for New Yorkers? I think that when people start seeing the homeless population, which is already at 50,000, when they start seeing that expand even more, I think they're going to... Donna Lehman, only wish Abbott would bust them to Delaware as well. Yeah, get back at the president in his own backyard, right? Being homeless in New York winter's got to be tough. Yeah, it's ridiculous, Police off the Gulf chatters are the friendliest ever. Yeah, this is a great community here. Here we are with Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitching with Bill. The Supreme Commander hour. It's not even an hour. It's usually 45 minutes. I don't want to keep you guys here for an hour, but the Supreme Commander hour. Boxing, MMA. I read that the cost to get rid of homelessness in the U.S. would be $20 billion. Boxing, MMA, I don't think it's that simple. It's not just a problem of no homes. That's just part of the problem. The problem is alcoholism, drug addiction, and mental illness, and basically criminality. And are some of those things connected to each other? Yeah, but when people act like Catherine Mooney, chatters are the best. Hi, Bill from Montreal. When people act like homelessness is a problem of no homes, it's total bullshit, and they're not being truthful. That's one political point of view. That's not there not being enough homes is a very small part of this equation. And as I said, it's alcoholism, drug addiction, mental illness, and of course, criminality. Criminals come out of Rikers Island. You think they're moving in with their family? And a lot of times the family doesn't want them back. They were relieved that they were away, or if they were upstate in prison. No, he's not coming back here, you know. They caused a great upheaval in their home just as well as they caused great upheaval in society. So, you know, the smiling homeless people that say, oh, the family welcomes. No, they don't. No, they do not. Lieutenant Pete can tell you that too. People graduating from state prison, it's not like the family, in most cases, is there, oh, come on home. You know, I don't think they do. Squirrel Sandwich, how will the migrant people, you question how are they going to get employed? It seems like no one wants, Bill, Frank Moore, this is a problem with immigration be solved when the people we elect stop the bullshit and get a Frank Marsha, I totally agree with you. There needs to be an immigration policy. An immigration policy. Not just pretend it's okay that everyone pours through the border. Yes, I know New York City Eastern Standard because of Lady Gaga. When she's there, Lady Gaga. She's pretty damn talented, right? She's got a pretty good voice, and she's a songwriter. That is the problem in this country. Drug addiction, alcoholism, mental illness, poverty will equal crime. It's in a vicious cycle. It's not just this country. It's all over the world. You know, alcoholism, mental illness, drug addiction, poverty. It's not just a U.S. problem. It's a problem all over the world. And what are the solutions to it? Obviously, our politicians have not found the solutions. Or look at California. How do you let people live on the street? How do you let that happen? So in essence, the people that are working every day, that are paying the taxes, their rights mean nothing because you're going to let people sleep on their sidewalk in front of their house. I find that ridiculous. I find it horrendous that's a policy that a government has. Josh, what title are you thinking today? Wow. Again, let's keep following up with the Kiely Rodni case and migrant migration. You could call it migrant. I don't know, migrant migration to New York, or something with sanctuary cities. Josh, you be creative. Someone just said they were a social worker in state prison, and I wish I could have read the whole thing, but I just caught it at the last minute. Could you repost it? Any more news on the Kylie case? No. As I said early on, that much of the investigative stuff, we're going to have to wait for the results of tests. The toxicology won't come back for 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. It takes a while. And you know something, we've seen cases where the toxicology is back and they don't release it. They don't release the information to the public. So that could be the case here, because you've got to realize Kylie is a juvenile. She's 16 years old, right? So they may not release the toxicology. Everyone wants there to be, for them to release it so they can figure out what actually happened. Pauline Buckles, I would think the autopsy report is finished. Yeah, I think the autopsy report is finished also, but they haven't released the results, have they? So it's up to the coroner, the medical examiner, and they probably confer with the family, the police, should we release this information. And, you know, lots of times the press will file what's called a Freedom of Information law request to force them to release it. Cynthia Gaines, thank you. Bill, as a social worker who works on the discharge of state prison inmates to get released from prison, families do not want them moving back in with them. So she concurs with my dissertation on that, and she probably speaks with a lot more authority and a lot more knowledge on that than I have. But so yeah, this has been a very serious. It's been a very serious 40 minutes so far. We haven't had that many laughs, but it's still great to be here. No buffering here. I want to know, but it's a personal thing, and absolutely respect the families. It was heartbreaking to hear what happened. Yes, anyone that's not heartbroken by what happened in the Kiely Rodni case, but so many things were made up. Right away people saying, "Oh, it's an abduction," and it really had nothing to do. There was no evidence of an abduction. But you see how things run wild, and especially on YouTube. People say, "Oh, what if, and what if, and what if, and what if?" But shouldn't we go with Alicia B. Drama and chaos sells, so people run with it. Someone sent me a video of the road leading down to the reservoir, and and I want to thank her. I don't have her by name right now. She went down this road during the daytime, and the water she was doing like 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, whatever. And the water just suddenly comes upon you. So at nighttime when it's pitch dark, and at some point there's a left turn you have to make, and then the road goes straight. Kylie obviously missed the left turn, because the left turn was the turn she needed to make to get out of the park. Instead, she went straight. The other thing people keep harping upon is like, where were the tire tracks? There was no skid marks. Like, the road is a dirt road, Lots of cars travel on it, so whatever tire marks were left there were rode over by other cars. And there's wind, and there's weather, and there's all other conditions. So there's not ordinarily, not automatically going to be tire tracks. So, you try to use sound investigative techniques and sound, as I use all the time, deductive reasoning. Gal Salatori, it rained. Yeah, the rain will do things like that, So Bill Cannon, the way people are attacking Dylan Rounds and the Kiely Rodni's family, it's horrible. Like, social media, it can be vicious, It can be vicious. Look, people attack me in the chat, but I just say, hey, you don't like this channel? There's hundreds of others. Leave, If you think that someone with 27 years on the NYPD and my resume of investigative tactics and experience I have is not good enough to make that call, to make that assumption, or to make that, I call it hypothesizing and theorizing. This is our theory based on this. If you don't think my experience is good enough for that, then this is not the right channel for you. Go somewhere else where people make things up, and you don't belong here then, I told that to a guy just today. If you don't think that my resume is good enough to make those assumptions, those educated guesses, hypothesis, then go to a channel where, someone will tiptoe around the facts and make up shit. Marilyn Minetta, Bill, I have to just talk about one thing. This is a place where we can ask questions and just catch up with each other. No, look, guys, this is Coffee with Cannon. Bitching with Bill, backyard beverage, everything, anything goes here, as long as it's respectful. As long as we respect each other. I'm cool with everything, Christy B, well, we have seen a lot of guilty parents, yeah. Hearts for Kiely Rodni from here in the UK, to our family and friends. Alicia B, there's so much conjecture, yes. Hit the road, Jack. Gail Salatori wants me to sing that song. Hit the road, Jack. You won't be coming back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. I don't even know that tune too well, I was just, I was playing, relearning Wichita Lineman. I used to know the song and I was like, you stop playing something and it has some sophisticated chords and stuff. So I was playing it yesterday and it was like, I am a lineman for the county and I ride the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire, I hear you singing through the wine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line. You know I need a small vacation, but it don't seem like rain. $10 to not karaoke. Ron J. Ron J doesn't want to hear any karaokeing today. So the lyrics are really great. Yeah, it's a great song. I loved Glenn Campbell. I thought he was great, you know. And we spoke about his life the other day, how near the end of his life he had Alzheimer's, I believe, and he could still, Fuzzy Docs, yeah, I do play guitar. Not as good as Glenn Campbell, but I play. And Glenn Campbell was on a tour, and he was still played till, and he couldn't really remember his name, but he could still remember the chords and the lyrics to the songs. Isn't that unbelievable? Frank Marsha, guys, the chat's going so fast, I can't read all of them, but Mezzy Mom, $10 to not karaoke. Sandra H used to play that over and over on my 8-track. Oh my God, there's technology that's dating, right? Richard, resident, what's up, Bill? How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys. Got a few more hurdles ahead of me, but I'm doing fine, you know. Fuzzy D and the gang, Phil Leo. So we had like 141. We were close to 150 in the chat. 122 thumbs up. That's pretty good. You know, I'm building a little other show, this Coffee with Cannon, and I like doing this because it's a different feel. It's a different vibe than Okie dokie. Your experience is exemplary. However, investigative bias is a thing. Statistics are fickle. Love listening to you when you explain yourself. Yeah, there is investigative bias, and I'm aware of that. And you know something? There were times when we would have an investigative direction, and I've discussed this on the show, and we realized we were wrong. And we had to do a 180-degree turn from the direction we were going. And we would do that. And you're right, there is something called investigative bias. But when Phil calls it spitballing, I call it hypothesizing and theorizing. And when you talk to everyone and put your heads together, your investigative heads together, and sometimes it's hard to get off the path of least resistance because, no, that's what we thought. But guess what? That doesn't make sense anymore. So we have to turn this aircraft carrier around and do it differently. And, you know, in the Kiely Rodni case, very early on, Phil and I both said, this looks like it's going to be a car accident. Fuzzy Doxy, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. $10 to karaoke. Thank you so much. So she went against the anti-karaoke people. That's great. Hugs, I have to go finish moving, which is worse than getting waxed. Okie dokie. Hi, Detective Phil is in the chat. Thank you, Fuzzy Doxy. Michelle Pranzo's in the chat. Angela Wilcox, I said on 2Call, you said, someone in the chat said they said to call Adventures with Purpose very early on. I didn't even know about Adventures in Purpose. This is the first time I became aware of them. I'm a huge fan now. I will say call them all the time. Lots of times we would say right here, EquiSearch Midwest, you know. Those are our go-to guys. But anytime there's a body of water now, Adventures with Purpose are the guys, you know. They are the men. Frank Marsha, hey, hello, Phil. Don Salami, did you find the cheese crooks yet? He's working hard to try to do that. Guys, I got 30 seconds left, so I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming by. Thank you for the support you give for the show, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for all your support. We built a whole other show. Alicia B., thank you so much. Another vote for your singing for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. It's, you know, there's a lot of love in this channel, a lot of love in Coffee with Cannon, Bitching with Bill, backyard beverage, that we can't even decide what to call it. This, but it's great. Guys, have a great day, a great Saturday. All the best.